So, you're thinking about getting a laser cleaner for your business. Smart move. You're in exactly the right place. In this quick explainer, we're going to cut through all the jargon and demystify this amazing technology so you can make a solid investment that'll pay off big time. Let's get right into it. Here's our game plan. We'll start with the headaches of old-school cleaning. You know what I'm talking about. Then we'll dive into how this whole cleaning with light thing actually works. After that, we hit the big one, continuous wave versus pulsed lasers. This is the most important part. Then we'll figure out which machine is right for your job, and finally, we'll crunch the numbers and show you just how fast you can get your money back. First things first, let's talk about why you're even looking at laser cleaners. For years, the options for heavy-duty cleaning have been, well, not great, and they come with a ton of hidden costs and problems.
Does this sound familiar? You're just constantly buying stuff, sand, chemicals, you name it. Then you're dealing with a huge mess, and on top of it all, you're worried about the health risks for you and your crew. It's just this endless, expensive, and messy cycle.
Let's just put it side by side. With sandblasting, you've got dust that gets into everything, not to mention the serious health risks like silicosis. Chemical cleaning? We're talking toxic waste, nasty fumes, and potential burns. Now look over at the laser column. No consumables, almost no cleanup, and the main hazard? It's your eyes, and that's easily handled with safety glasses. But here's the kicker. It doesn't damage the surface underneath.
So if the old ways are so clunky, what's the big new idea? Well, it's all about using a focused beam of light to do the hard work, but in a much smarter and cleaner way.
At its heart, laser cleaning is a zero-contact process. A super focused beam of light just zaps away the gunk. That means no chemicals to get rid of, no sand to sweep up, nothing even touches the material you're working on. It is literally the cleanest way to clean.
You're probably wondering, how does it zap the rust but not the metal? It's actually a really cool bit of science called ablation. See, the rust or paint soaks up the laser's energy and just poof, it vaporizes in an instant. But the clean metal underneath, it acts like a mirror and reflects most of that energy away, so it stays cool and totally undamaged. A simple fume extractor just vacuums up the vaporized dust, and that's it. Job done.
All right, pay close attention here, because this is, without a doubt, the single most important decision you're going to make when you buy a laser cleaner. It all boils down to two very different types of laser. You've got continuous wave, or CW, and pulsed. Think of a CW laser like a powerful, always-on fire hose. It's crazy fast. We're talking 2 to 3 times faster, and it costs a whole lot less, like 40 to 60% less. A pulsed laser, on the other hand, is more like a surgical tool. It fires in these tiny, super intense bursts. It's incredibly gentle and precise, perfect for delicate stuff, but it's slower and costs more. So that's the trade-off, right? Speed and cost versus precision and finesse.
Let's just boil this down to a dead simple rule. If you need to blast through rust and paint as fast as possible without breaking the bank, you want a CW laser. End of story. But if you're working on something delicate or super valuable where you can't risk any damage, you need a pulsed laser. And here's the thing you really need to know. About 80% of businesses, 4 out of 5, end up with a CW laser, because it's the perfect tool for all the most common jobs.
Okay, so now that we know the difference between CW and pulsed, let's get down to brass tacks. Which one of these machines is actually right for the work that you do every single day?
Look, for the vast majority of industrial jobs, I'm talking stripping heavy rust, taking off old paint, prepping surfaces for welding. A CW laser is your workhorse. It's the go-to tool. A machine between 1,500 and 2,000 watts is going to tear through that stuff and give you the absolute best bang for your buck, usually somewhere in that $4,000 to $7,000 range.
But what if you're cleaning something like a really expensive injection mold, or maybe a priceless antique for a restoration project? This is where a pulsed laser is an absolute must. The extra cost is basically an insurance policy. It protects those super fine details on the mold or the delicate surface of an artifact from any heat damage, which a more powerful CW laser might cause.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds great, but what's it going to cost me? So let's stop thinking about cost and start thinking about investment. Let's look at just how fast one of these machines actually pays for itself.
Yeah, the laser has a higher price tag up front, but that's not the whole story. Look at the total cost over 5 years. Once you add up all the money you're constantly spending on sand, chemicals, cleanup labor, and waste disposal, well, the laser doesn't just catch up, it becomes the cheapest option by a mile.
I mean, look at that number. Over 5 years, you could save more than $10,000 compared to sandblasting. That is serious money. That's cash that goes right back to your bottom line.
So how long are we talking? When you start seeing that money back? For most people, you'll break even in just 12 to 18 months. And hey, if you're spending a ton on consumables right now, you could see that return way faster. Let's do some quick back-of-the-napkin math. Let's say your total cost for cleaning right now is about $15 an hour. A laser costs maybe $2 an hour to run. That's a $13 per hour savings. If you clean for 1,000 hours a year, you're saving 13 grand. A $5,000 machine pays for itself in less than 5 months. Go ahead, run the numbers for your own shop. You'll probably be shocked. Okay, to make sure you get a great machine, here's a quick checklist. These are the questions you absolutely have to ask any supplier. Ask who makes the laser source. That's the engine of the whole thing. Make them prove the actual power output. And get the details on the warranty, tech support, and, this is a big one, ask if you can test it on your own parts first. A good supplier will be happy to answer all of this. So, what's the next step? Well, one of the fastest ways to boost your ROI is to skip the middleman and avoid those dealer markups. If you want to learn more about going factory direct and get a quote that's tailored for exactly what you need, you can reach out directly to the technical team at Chihalo. They'll get you sorted out.